It's getting big.
I am small.
Yeah. After a long, long time. Long time, it's just there, not moving. Then happens all the time. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari 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 Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Radhe.
Hare Rama, Hare
Jai Shipad Paramahamsa Tri Vradgacharya Stotra Sutta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Shirabai Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Veda Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandiviti Founder Sharya Divine Grace Shila Prabhupada Ki Namasarya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samavata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Janitai Gouda Primanande. All glorious to be assembled devotees, all glorious to be assembled devotees, all glorious to be assembled devotees, all glorious to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glorious to Sri Prabhupada Ki. Om Abhyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Sarakaya Taksurandritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Jena Bhuktale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vikam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Sya Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vansakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Jaivasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Seva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is of the means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Sri Vyasa Dev, the author. Nasta Prayasa Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Kamashloka. The Supreme Lord, whose praise with translation as an irrevocable Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Utama Shloka Charitam Sakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreya Sayalokasya Dhanyam Maha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grammar Vedic literature, it is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Sri Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of the people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Nitankaroti Vasalam Pangam Nangayate Girim Yatripa Tamaham Bande Sri Guram Dinakaranam Yatripa Tamaham Bande Sri Guram Dinakaranam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna. Welcome to our guests. And to everyone. Somebody's checking, hey. Somebody's checking Titir. Titir. Yeah. We may need a microphone. So we will. Huh? It will come to an end at some time. Meantime, we will try our best. We will try our best to speak and to hear. That's called Shravanam Kirtanam. Shravanam Kirtanam. So we are reading from the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number 8, which is entitled Prayers by Queen Kunti. And today we are reading text number 38. Canto number 1, chapter 8, text 38. Yeah. Ke Vayam Nama Rupadhyam Yadubihi Saha Pandavaha Bhavato Darshanam Yarhi Vishikhanam Iveshituhu Kevayam Nama Rupabhyam Yadubi Saha Pandavaha Bhavato Dasanam Yarhi Rishikanam Iveshituhu Kevayam Nama Rupabhyam Yadubhi Saha Pandavaha Bhavato Darshanam Yarhi Rishikanam Iveshituhu Kevayam Nama Rupabhyam Yadubhi saha pandavaha Bhavato darshanam yadhi Rishikanam iveshituhu. Evayam namarupabhyam Yadubhi saha pandavaha Bhavato darshanam yadhi Rishikanam niveshituhu. Devayam nama rupabhyam Yadubhi saha pandavaha Bhavato darsanam yadhi Rishikanam niveshituhu. Devayam nama rupabhyam Yadubhi saha pandavaha Bhavato dasanam yahi Nam niveshituhu. Okay. Who are Vayam we Nama rupabhyam without the Yadus along with Pandavaha and the Pandavas Bhavataha your Adarsanam absence Yadhi as if Rishikanam of the senses Eva like Ishituhu of the living being. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. It's not decreasing, it's increasing.
No, because the root should be like something soft, not be hard. That's why the...
Yes. We'll have to tell somebody. Translation. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and Yadus, will end at once. Kindly repeat after me. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and Yadus, will end at once. Report. Kunti Devi is quite aware that the existence of the Pandavas is due to Sri Krishna only. The Pandavas are undoubtedly well established in name and fame and are guided by the great king Yudhishthira, who is morality personified. And the Yadus are undoubtedly great allies, but without the guidance of Lord Krishna, all of them are non-entities, as much as the senses of the body are useless without the guidance of consciousness. No one should be proud of his prestige, power, and fame without being guided by the favor of the Supreme Lord. The living beings are always dependent, and the ultimate dependable object is the Lord Himself. We may therefore invent by our advancement of material knowledge all sorts of counteracting all sorts of counteracting material resources, but without being guided by the Lord, all such inventions end in fiasco, however strong and stout the reactionary elements may be. Translation again. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if we do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and Yadus, will end at once. So in the last few days, we have been Queen Kunti Devi has been making reference to Queen Kunti Devi has been making reference to this very, very important aspect of dependency. She mentions here also, or Prabhupada rather, mentions again the word dependency. Our main disease, our main problem in the material world is to think that we are independent. We are forgetful of this most fundamental, basic, and essential aspect of life. That actually every single moment, every single moment of our existence is totally dependent on something beyond us. For example, we are dependent on nature, but actually nature is not independent. Nature is actually created by the Lord, created by God. So ultimately, nature is dependent. The laws of nature are going on due to the higher arrangement that is there. In one purport of the Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada uses a nice expression. We are all living on borrowed plumes. You know, plume, like plume is like feathers, like birds have feathers. So whatever designation, whatever honor, whatever we may possess, whatever recognition we may have, within a moment that actually can and will of course disappear when we are no longer connected with this body. The question of connection. Queen Kunti Devi is nicely expressing that, my dear Krishna, we are going away, and without you we are nothing. Pandavas, like Arjuna, Yudhishthira, all of them, all of the Pandavas, we know are great heroes. They are very famous personalities. But they are great heroes and they are famous personalities because of Krishna, because of their connection with Krishna, because of their dependence on Krishna. So a devotee of the Lord is not anxious, is not is not running after fame and recognition. We were recalling that very nice Leela of Madhavendra Puri, isn't it? Madhavendra Puri, such a humble, meek and surrendered soul. He was so dependent. Actually, he is in many ways a very wonderful example of someone who is completely dependent, because one of the great vows, he took a vow which I've never met anyone who has taken such kind of a vow, and it's very rare to find. He made a vow that I will never ask anything to anyone. Try and make that vow. I will never ask anything to anyone, including food, because he was in a renounced order, and those in the renounced order, they are allowed to beg. They are allowed to ask. That practice is there in Vrindavan. That is called Madhukadi. Madhukadi. People, they beg just for their basic survival, the basic necessities of life. But Madhavendra Puri had made this very solemn vow, and that means that sometimes he would be fasting, maybe for many days, because he would not ask anybody for food. So this is a very a wonderful example of someone who understands the meaning of dependency. So this is being underlined here. Ultimately, whatever achievement we make in life, it is not simply due to our personal self, to our personal endeavor, and therefore a devotee especially is someone who is meant to always keep in mind, to always understand, and also to verbalize on a daily basis his gratitude to the Lord for whatever he may have, whatever he may be accomplishing. Just like there is that very nice verse, Kali Kali Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tar Pravartan. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe, yes. Without the Shakti, means the mercy of Krishna, it is not possible to accomplish even the simple thing, what to speak of great things. Just like for us, the prime example is our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, who at the end of his life, at the very advanced age of 70, ventured to an unknown country without any money, without any contacts. And within a short time, by the mercy of Krishna, he introduced the whole Vedic culture in so many countries all over the world, and it is ongoing and continuing today. So from a purely material point of view, or by mere material calculation, this is not possible. This is totally unlikely. But everything is possible, as we know, due to the will and the mercy of the Lord. So therefore, a devotee, even he may become, just like Srila Prabhupada became quite famous, quite well known. There's a nice example. You know, every time the devotees would go to the airport, either to receive Srila Prabhupada or to send him away on flight, so many devotees, sometimes hundreds of devotees, would go to the airport at the great anxiety of the airport authorities. Who are all these people? In those days, 50 years ago, they didn't have the kind of regulations that are there now. You could practically go right up to the airplane. So one time, Prabhupada was in the airport and he was waiting for his flight, and all the devotees were standing doing this big kirtan, and then one of the local airport authorities, you know, he tapped one of the devotees who seemed to be like a leader. Can you quiet down? You know, can you tell everybody to sit down? And then so he said, yes, of course. So he made this announcement to everyone. No, actually, the request was, can you ask everyone to shift or to go to this other place, because they were blocking traffic. So then this devotee made the announcement that all the devotees, we have been requested to change our seats, you know. So the first one actually to respond to the request was Prabhupada, because he considered, yeah, I'm one of the devotees. But, and then the devotee, no, not you, Prabhupada, you can remain seated. So in other words, normally those who are having a lot of fame and wealth and position and followers in society, generally, not all the time, but generally, they become a little puffed up, or a lot puffed up, you know. Fame and money and followers kind of blows up our ego. But someone who's a devotee of the Lord, my voice will adjust to adjust to the outside noise. Someone who's a devotee of the Lord, he never ever forgets his position of dependency on the Lord. And this is, of course, only possible when one develops this very basic and fundamental quality of what is called humility. And Lord Chaitanya especially emphasized this quality of meekness and humility. Chinadapi sunichana, tararapi sahishana, amanena, manadena, kirtanya sada harihi. That for ourselves, we are, if anyone criticizes or whatever one may do against our personal self, we will not be affected. But if someone criticizes or brings some kind of obstruction to the Lord, to the deity, or to the devotees, then one will mind. But for our own self, we should develop this mood and mentality that we are totally dependent on the Lord, and we maintain this mood and mentality of humility. Actually, it is not possible, that's also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, not possible to practice spiritual life if one is proud and envious. Pride and envy are kind of like interconnected. If we are not proud, we will not be envious. If we are proud, then we will be disturbed by somebody else's. So Krishna in the 9th chapter very nicely makes this point to Arjuna in the very first verse of the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Idam tite, what is it? Idam tite guyat tanam. So that's 9-1. 9-1. Sri Bhagavan Vacha idam tite guyatamam pravyakshyami anasuyade dhyanam vijnana sahitam yasgyadva mokshase shibhat. Translation. The Supreme Lord said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of all the miseries of material existence. So in other words, in other places also, Krishna explained, Bhaktosi me sakacheti rahasyam hyetaditamam. This knowledge, spiritual knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and actually not only transcendental knowledge. I mean, I used to think before that when Krishna speaks about bhuyam, confidential or mysterious, that it was meant only for spiritual knowledge. But actually, maybe a few years ago, I started to understand a little bit, started to realize that this bhuyam is not only referring to spiritual knowledge, even material knowledge. In other words, the workings of material nature is very mysterious, not so easy. Just like we have been discussing, and it's very, in many ways, very fundamental and but very essential. Simple question. If we ask anybody, what is the science? What is the science of economics? If I was to ask you, what is the science of economics? What would you reply?
The main principle to have
What is
everything
what is the science? Don't give it away. What is, what is the normal way that most people, and probably also most devotees, think when we speak about economy? Economy. What comes to your mind? Just, economy. You know economy? Money. What is the science of economy?
Just to maintain the livelihood and
Yeah. So how to do that?
they work on future,
You get a job and you make money. That's the science of it. Yeah.
If some some job inside the temple campus, that is okay. Otherwise, we have to go outside. Because in the campus there are lots of things happening, so we prefer to go outside and some people
Yeah. You're a Hare Krishna devotee. Yeah. So, generally we think that if we're living in a temple as a brahmachari, we don't even have to think about it. But it comes, at least 3 times a day. Yeah. But if you're not living in the temple and not a brahmachari, you're in trouble if you don't know what is economy, isn't it? And most people, this is modern day understanding. Economy, money. If you want to survive, if you want to survive, you get a job. You have to get a job, isn't it? But that is not the science of economy. That is not water. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, many living entities are finding it a little tough with all the rain. So, in our Vedic literature, maybe you have to change. You can come this way. The ants are finding it a little difficult. Everything actually has a solution and an answer. So the science of economy, we find it in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Wow. The science of economy is in a spiritual book called the Bhagavad Gita. And it is 18th chapter, verse 44. Krishi Goraksha Banijam Vaisha Karma Svabhavajam. Krishi Goraksha Banijam is the formula for perfect economy. What is perfect economy? It is economy that is sustainable. The best, and we could say only sustainable economy is that economy that is based on cows and lamb. Cows and lamb. Yes, we caught you off guard. Cows and lamb. So our Vedic literatures have all of these formulas, in the form of mantra. The different mantras are giving us the key, the answer, the understanding, how to know about spiritual knowledge, and also how to understand material knowledge, isn't it? Because we are in the material world, every single moment of the day, every single living entity in human form in particular, we are dealing with the spiritual dimension of life as well as the material dimension, isn't it? Every day we have to eat, every day we have to sleep, we have to take care of this body, etc. And if we go outside now, if we don't have an umbrella, we'll get all wet. We have to live according to the nature that is surrounding us. Yeah. So this very nice point is being made here by Queen Kunti Devi, to come back to our verse, in terms of the primary let's say, instruction that is being conveyed here, that a devotee of the Lord, he knows, he understands that without the presence of the Lord, without my connection with the Lord, without the mercy of the Lord, I'm nothing. I cannot do anything. I cannot understand anything. So therefore, by nature, a devotee of the Lord is defined as someone who is never forgetful of his absolute and total dependence on the Lord. I mean, Draupadi is another prime example of that, isn't it? Draupadi, because she was holding on to her sari, she was in great anxiety, but when she fully surrendered and put her two arms up and surrendered to Krishna, Krishna reciprocated and protected her, isn't it? Yeah. Prahlad Maharaj, he is of that mood and mentality of 108% surrendered to Krishna, and therefore Krishna protects him in most severe, dangerous conditions. He protects him physically as well. So this very important aspect. Queen Kunti is fully realizing, fully understanding, and praying to the Lord that now, my dear Lord, you are going away. We are known as the Pandavas, but actually the Pandavas without you, without being connected with you, they are finished, they are nothing. So kindly don't forget us, and even though you are going away, we are praying for your kind mercy upon us. So that is in all of these wonderful prayers that are being recited in this particular chapter entitled Pray with Queen Kunti. We can see the wonderful mood and mentality of a personality like Queen Kunti Devi, who is playing the role of an ordinary mother, simple lady, but actually she is most advanced, most realized devotee of the Lord because of that mood and mentality of total and full surrender. So that is connected with what our acharyas describe as Sharanagati, isn't it? Sharanagati means we cannot expect to get the full favor of the Lord unless we learn the science and the art of fully surrendering. That's what we are trying to practice. That's what we should be practicing every single day, how to surrender more and more. And that's ultimately the final instruction that Lord Krishna gives out in the Bhagavad Gita. Savadharmam parityaja mamekam saranam vraja. And then Krishna makes that promise. If you actually do that, if you actually fully surrender, then I will, Krishna promise, I will protect you. I'll let somebody else speak, maybe. Any thoughts or comments?
Grace the soul, fighting against this noise.
We are constantly being challenged in the material world. True or not true? Yeah. Yeah.
No, you know.
Here it is mentioned in the purport, the last phrase, but without being guided by the Lord, all such inventions
and in fiasco.
Without being
Without being guided by the Lord,
Ah.
all such inventions end in fiasco.
and fiasco. Without being guided by the Lord, all of our endeavors end up in fiasco, chaos. Yes.
However strong and stout that reactionary elements may be.
Yes. However strong and stout that we may be. Correct. You believe that or don't believe that?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So, but
yes.
in this material, all the people will think that we are only doing ourselves.
Yes.
There is no
Other part.
hand in
Yes.
other activities.
Yes. There's no hidden hand.
Yeah. So how we think that everyone is thinking, even the devotees also sometimes they think that we are doing this.
Okay. So I think what you're asking is how to always remember
Yeah.
that actually,
Right view, right?
yeah,
Remember, but not as a doer.
right. How to always remember our position of servant.
And how to depend upon Krishna.
How to develop that dependency on Krishna. That comes similar to what we discussed yesterday, the point you're making. The more we become purified in consciousness, we will remember, we will understand our minute, insignificant position. Just like the more we understand how great is Krishna, how big is Krishna, the more we can understand how insignificant and small we are. Isn't it? Yeah. So that means the daily ongoing cultivation of Krishna consciousness. In the first of the 7 purposes as formulated by Srila Prabhupada, see, these guys are in trouble, huh? So much water is coming. I think they live in there and there's water coming. Anyways, the more we realize, then, yeah, the first of the 7 purposes is referring to the importance of systematically cultivating and propagating this knowledge. So, this of course is directly connected with the standing order given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in terms of especially those born in the land of Bharatvarsha. Bharata Bhumite Hoila Manushya Janamajar Janma Sarthak Kori Para Upakar. So before engaging in Para Upakar, before engaging in helping others, we must ourselves be seriously practicing and cultivating this knowledge. The more we do this, then we will be able to remember our dependent position, isn't it? So yes, sometimes even devotees, those who are not devotees, they're constantly forgetful. But even devotees, as you rightly mentioned, are sometimes forgetful that, okay, I've done this, they tend to take the credit. That is due to impure consciousness, isn't it? We're not remembering, not understanding, because a devotee, just like Srila Prabhupada, he accomplished many wonderful things, and at times, either some of his disciples or other people, they would glorify Srila Prabhupada. Actually, glorification is something that devotees don't look for, don't want. And whenever such situations would arise, Srila Prabhupada would simply say, if I have any credit for writing these books or for spreading Krishna consciousness, it is all due to the mercy of my Guru Maharaj. Or it is all due to the mercy of Krishna. So that is what we need to cultivate, and at different times, if we are not cultivating this, Krishna helps to remind us. He creates situations where we become humble, isn't it? If we're not by nature humble, Krishna helps us in different ways to become humble. Yeah.
That's a very good point which you mentioned, that we have to learn two sides of the knowledge of science, not just the spiritual side, because we come, okay, this material world is
Yeah, right.
it's just burden. So I just want to learn spiritual.
Yes.
But it's not. In the Bhagavad Gita, practically more science was teaching about the material nature.
Yes.
Like in the 14th chapter, all full of material nature,
Yes.
three modes of nature. Why?
Yes, yes,
We can ask, do we need that?
yes,
And what you mentioned before, that there is a slogan, die before die.
yes,
So we have to know the material knowledge to decrease our engagement
yes,
step by step, and parallelly the spiritual knowledge increase
yes,
your engagement in spiritual, in soul, in activities, in everything. So there's two parallel movement is going on,
yes,
step by step.
Yes.
Sometimes they are quite natural, but sometimes we don't advance in one or the
Yes.
other because we stuck with some attraction, like in the next verses. Kunti will explain what you could to block your advancement,
yes,
like
yes,
the Ganga. You will never stop the Ganga. The
Yes.
Ganga will reach the ocean.
yes,
But smaller rivers, we sometimes stuck.
yes, yes,
So we are small rivers, not like the Ganga. So we have to learn how to find a way to reach at least the Ganga, and then with the Ganga, we will reach the ocean,
yes,
nectar of ocean.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, nice
Very,
point.
very, very, very interesting. We need both,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
use
Yeah.
different ways.
How to balance and harmonize.
Yeah.
How to balance and harmonize what our acharyas refer to as spiritual swadharma and material swadharma, isn't it? Because dharma is not only something spiritual, dharma is also on the material level, and therefore our Vedic literatures give us all the knowledge that we need is contained actually in the Vedic literatures. The essence of which, of course, is in these two books that we have every day when we give Bhagavatam class. Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are giving us the basis of both material knowledge and spiritual knowledge. And just like in the seventh canto, seventh chapter, we read that just the other day, 7:2, where Krishna explains that actually knowledge means knowing the source of both spiritual and material knowledge, the origin of both, and how they are meant to interact amongst each other. This is
Upanishad also.
it's in Upanishad, yeah, this whole aspect of sambandha, identity and relationship. If we don't know our identity, we'll not understand our relationship. Yeah. So all this knowledge is there, and it is the duty and responsibility, it is incumbent upon every individual soul to actually increase one's understanding. That means increase one's consciousness, and that is only possible by purifying our consciousness. And the most effective and most recommended process for doing that is through the practice of bhakti, of devotional service, which ultimately will lead us to our final destination beyond this ocean of material. So, what brings you to our, yeah, so I think we can end our class maybe. You know what to press? Bondo karo. Jai Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai.
Right.